When protective services take children from their parents, state law says a judge must first personally review the case and sign off on it. But that was not happening in one of Michigan's busiest courts.
7 Action News investigator Heather Cataldo takes on a system and a local judge for failing to protect parents' rights.
It's called rubber stamping, and last August, we first exposed how court staff were literally taking one of these and stamping a judge's name onto orders that allowed the state to take kids from their parents. After our investigations, the rubber stamping stopped, but no one has ever been held accountable. Not the judge, not the chief judge, or Child Protective Services. Why was this allowed to happen in your court?
I understand.
This is Wayne County Circuit Court Judge Leslie Kim Smith. She's the presiding judge here at the James Lincoln Hall of Justice, the county's juvenile court. It was her name that had been stamped on removal orders like this one. And legal experts tell us that stamp allowed children to be taken from their parents illegally. Are you going to talk to us or not?
Have a good day.
I'll have more on our fight for information from the court and the state. But first, let's take a look at how the practice called rubber stamping came to light.
I knew the system was broken, but I didn't know it was this broken, where anyone, literally anyone, could come and take your child.
Marianne Godboldo's case made international news after she was accused of firing a gun when police officers and Child Protective Services came to take her daughter in March of 2011. They showed up at her door after Godboldo told 2 local agencies that she was working with her doctor to wean her daughter off the controversial antipsychotic medication Risperdal. Godboldo's lawyers say those agencies reported her to CPS. And after that happened, a caseworker used this rubber-stamped court order that a judge later called invalid to take then 13-year-old Ariana from her mother. Under Michigan law, unless it's an emergency where a child is in imminent danger, Child Protective Services workers are supposed to request a hearing in front of a judge, where the parents accused of neglect or abuse can tell their side of the story before a child is removed from the home. But court insiders tell us that wasn't happening in Wayne County.
It is completely illegal.
What does that mean for the children of Wayne County?
What it means is that they are in greater danger of being removed from their home unnecessarily.
University of Michigan law professor Joshua Kay says under Michigan law, a judge must personally review a child removal order.
I think it's important to emphasize the tremendous impact of a decision to remove a child. It is one of the most wrenching things that can happen in a child's life, in the life of a family, and it changes people's lives forever.
This process is called rubber stamping. Last August, the day after the 7 Action News investigators confirmed that the rubber stamping had been going on, the court stopped doing it. After we exposed the practice, the State Supreme Court Administrator's Office, or SCAO, sent this memo to all the family courts in the state, recommending they review their procedures. An SCAO official also told Wayne County's chief judge that the rubber stamping must stop. The court is now using an iPad for their on-call judge to review after-hours child removal orders electronically. But we knew there was more to the story. How many children had been taken illegally? How long had rubber stamping been going on? Some court insiders tell us it's been happening for decades. But those are questions no one seems to want to answer. Last fall, we asked the court in writing for all their records on removal orders going back to 2009, but they won't provide them. And guess what? The court doesn't have to because it's not subject to public information laws. After Judge Leslie Kim Smith and her boss, Chief Judge Virgil Smith, denied our many requests for information, we caught up with the juvenile court judge on her way into work. Hi, Judge Smith. I'm Heather Cataldo from Channel 7. I'd like to talk to you about the rubber stamping that's been going on in the court. Judge Smith tried to pass us off to the court's lawyer, the same one who denied our earlier requests for information on child removal records. And we'd like to talk to you. It was your name that was on those removal orders that was rubber stamped.
All right, well, you'll need to talk to Liz Colcap, who's the general counsel for the court.
But it was your name on those orders. Why was this allowed to happen in your court?
I understand.
Are you going to talk to us or not?
Have a good day.
We also asked the state's Department of Human Services, which oversees protective services, for the same information. They wanted to charge us nearly $33,000 for the public records request. Following one of our first stories a year ago about child removals, DHS Director Maura Corrigan refused to speak to us on camera. The day after our investigation aired, Corrigan wrote this opinion piece in the Detroit Free Press. The headline, "Removing children from families always follows legal procedures." Now that that's been proven to be false, a DHS spokesman says they haven't done anything to find out if kids were wrongly taken from homes, but instead they are addressing structural deficiencies within the system.
This system is destroying the future of America, and if something is not done about it, we won't have a future.
Marianne Gatboldo is now suing the state, the county, and Detroit police for illegally taking her child. As for her criminal case for allegedly firing a gun, a judge threw it out because he said the removal order used to take her daughter was not valid, and there was no evidence that she fired the shot. I'm Heather Catallo, 7 Action News.